It's always kind of interesting waking up in an anchorage that you didn't see the night before. I cannot see land at all.
I gotta drive because Jittery Jackson doesn't know how to drive with swell.
So we put 2 reefs in before tonight and it's easy. We are really not where we expected to be. We decided to see the world by sailboat. We sailed from the Great Lakes of Canada and made it to the Bahamas, where the unexpected happened.
Not able to start the engine.
Let's go! It's always kind of interesting waking up in an anchorage that you didn't see the night before. It's actually really nice. I wish we could go to shore, but we're not allowed. We're cruisers. We're not allowed to go to shore in the Bahamas. So we'll just carry on. And the winds picked up too, which is really nice because yesterday night was just dead. Super calm. And the rolliness kind of stopped, which made for a really, really good night of sleep. Or I was just too tired and didn't feel it.
Well, breakfast time. It's a pretty light sail today. We're not getting quite as much wind as predicted. It was going to be light anyway, but it's definitely really light. And we're seeing the last of Exumas behind me. I'm a little bit sad. I really like Exumas, but I guess it's time to go back home or back to civilization, where maybe we can fish again. We're picking up some speed. We're moving closer to 6 knots now, so that's good. We're actually trying to pick the best speed for the wind direction, so we ended up falling off a little bit, and we're now on our beam. We're getting the wind on our beam instead of more closed hull. We were heading more north on a closed hull. Now we're starting to cross over to the west side of Nassau, hoping to get out into the tongue of the ocean a little quicker so that we can drop some fishing lines, because there's no sense in fishing in like 15 feet of water because all we're going to catch is barracuda most likely. So we're slowly making our way over. I'm figuring we're going to have about 25 or 30 nautical miles before we reach Nassau along the tongue of the ocean wall. Hopefully that's where we can catch some stuff. I'm not sure how much of a wall it is, or it's most likely just a sandbank actually. But anyway, yeah, it's a beautiful sail. The waves are pretty calm. I mean, the wind's not super strong, but we get gusts that get us going at a good speed now, so it's awesome. Happy days. Coffee for energy, lemonade for refreshment and dehydration.
And some sandwich!
Yum. Looks delish.
It's crazy! I cannot see land at all. The Bahamas are so short that you really don't see the islands up until you're pretty much right on top of them. So right now we're somewhere in between the Exumas, Nassau, and Andros Island. Getting close to the tongue of the ocean. I think this is one of the nicest sail we've had in quite a while. It's just so calm, and we're still cruising 4.5, 5.5 knots depending on waves and wind gust. But it's nice, you can pretty much just relax in the boat, read a book, take a nap, make some food, and you're naturally being thrown all over the place. So it's really, it's perfect. It's so much better than yesterday. This is the kind of day I wanted. And we're gonna keep on sailing forever into the darkness. Just set up a pole to the head sail because we're kind of doing, and we're not quite downwind, but every time we go up and down the waves, our whole head sail just collapses and then reopens and collapses, which makes us lose quite a bit of speed. And we're trying to get to the deep water before it gets too dark. And so we haven't really used that pole in ever because we had all our gas tanks and water tanks right up against it. And it's just really hard to get to, but we decided, since we're cruising like this for quite a while, to just put it out and set it up, and it made quite a bit of a difference actually. We've gained a couple, I don't know, half a knot to a knot, give or take.
You're not losing speed anymore, which is
yeah. Yeah, because we were dropping below 4 knots, which wasn't very good. I think Corey's really into the book. He's driving and reading.
Well, I gotta drive because Jittery Jackson doesn't know how to drive with swell, and he keeps trying to make us frickin' accidentally jibe with our mainsail and our pole, and I really don't want that to happen because it's not going to be very good for it. So, and I want to kind of finish my page. So yeah, anyway, and I'm trying to get to the wall before dark, and the weather and the conditions just aren't making it very easy. We have less than 5 nautical miles, but we only have maybe an hour before sunset. We're not going 5 knots, so I gotta try to point towards the wall as much as I can, but the wind keeps dying and making me have to go more this way. Otherwise, I end up getting bounced around in the waves, and it threatens the jibe. So, this is the situation we're in.
Bon appetit! Homemade chili. Super tasty. A little bit too spicy. I put maybe too many ghost peppers. But I could only do this today just because it was so calm. Like, it's been one of our nicest sails. We've been still cruising. I mean, maybe not the fastest, but it's super stable. So I could actually go down below, cut up some onions, carrots, and just like cook up a storm. So that's really nice, because usually I don't do that when we're actually crossing. And we were just talking also that like yesterday we were almost regretting or second guessing not having left with our buddy boat just because of the change in the weather and all. But then really, when it came down to today, I think we did a good decision, because yesterday night the wind entirely died on us and we wouldn't have been as fast as our buddy boat, so I think we might have gotten stranded in the tongue of the ocean without any wind, at the mercy of the current and waves. So at least yesterday night we just dropped the hook and I had one of the nicest sleep. It was so calm. It was perfect. Perfect. And I'm super rested for tonight's passage. But Corey did say that he wasn't gonna sleep tonight, so I made the bed for myself, I think.
So how many hours do you think we have left?
Oh god.
Should be there sometime tomorrow at like noon, I think. I hope.
Yeah, maybe a little after lunch. And right now it's almost 6 o'clock.
Trying to make it to the tongue of the ocean. I think we're gonna make it so we can drop our fishing gear. Got all the fishing gear set up back there. Ready to go. The hand line with our favorite little squid. And some teasers over there on the rod. I expected a big drop. Oh,
We are
is it
dropping.
picking up? Are you starting to drop? It's supposed to be a big drop off from like 6 meters or maybe 8 meters to 388 meters. This is not what's happening right now. We've got a very slow drop off. I guess that's what sand would do though, really.
Yeah.
So, might actually not be the best spot for fishing.
It is bluer, like darker blue right now.
80. Woo! It's coming up. We're going down. Come on, 90. I'm gonna start putting out the rod at 90. There we go. Woo! Our little one-eyed squid. We lost an eye on our last mahi we caught. We're gonna throw this overboard now that we're in infinite feet of water and see if we can catch something. All right.
I'm getting ready for the night, so we're actually getting some really good wind right now. We're like doing 6 knots, which is awesome. But we don't want to be stuck in the middle of the night having to reef down our sails, because the wind is supposed to be decently strong. So we put 2 reefs in before the night, and then it's easy. Auto.
Jittery Jackson's having some troubles. It is quite strong, and the weather helm is roughly from there to there. And somehow Otto has just oversteered us to the point where we are no longer hard on the wind and we're actually going downwind. So I don't know how that happened. He's apparently having some trouble. All right, let's do this. So you'll have to disconnect not the topping lift, but the boom bang and the rope holding the gooseneck.
It's gonna have to go
It's
up.
gotta go all the way to the top, and I'll help you pull on the line, the reefing line through this end.
Sounds good, and I'll bring down the second loop so that we don't have the sail go back up.
Good.
Okay, here's the main halyard. I am secured
Cool.
in business.
Alex, it'll be easier if I let off on the main sheet. All right.
Okay,
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Just in time for sunset. Alex is cleaning up the lines. Gonna pull in the sheet a little bit. Want to tighten up on the topping lift while you're over there? There you go. Something like that should be fine. Alright, well now Jittery Jackson is having a much easier time steering. Still a little bit of weather hum, but not nearly as much. And now we don't have to worry about reefing at night, and we can enjoy this nice, beautiful sunset. High five!
Success!
Good job.
Thank you!
Here, fishy, 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 fishy. I don't know if we're gonna catch anything at night, but we'll keep trying. As you can see, we're still moving at a pretty good pace, around 6 knots.
Cheers to sundowners! So nice. It's almost midnight.
Yeah, we took a while tacking in here.
Well, tonight turned into a totally quite a surprise actually. We are really not where we expected to be. We got a message from our buddy boat and they were in the berries, but then today decided to take off and go for West Palm in Florida. So then we're like, well, we're way behind them. We're never going to catch up. We'll get stuck in the berries with some really strong south and east winds. So we decided to pull into Nassau. We're at West Bay, which we had been here way at the beginning of the trip. So we knew our track and we could actually get in at night. There was kind of a tricky navigation with all the boats at anchor. We made it! So, as I was organizing stuff and trying to double check everything after a long passage, I found some water. Our port compartment at the bow just got soaked once again, and it seems like there was a hole in my oatmeals. So, I'm transferring stuff. Making sure it's dry.
Ugh, what are you doing now? Again?
Yeah, again. So there's water in this compartment, which we found water in this compartment for the first time back in November. And initially we thought it was just a can of 7-Up that had exploded and leaked all over the place. But now there's no more 7-Up in there and none of the cans seem to have lost any of their juice. So we're starting to think that there's a leak somewhere. Look at that.
That's a lot of liquid.
So one thing I've sort of ruled out is the tow rail leaking, because we were really like dipping over it the other day. So I was like, okay, maybe there's just water coming in from the tow rail dripping through there. But I looked all over the tow rail, no water whatsoever, even pulled out some drawers to sit in the back and couldn't really find anything. So now I'm almost starting to think that maybe some of the water from the bilge splashes over under the floor through there when we're really heeled over or just like bouncing a ton with the waves. But I'm not even entirely sure. Or there's water when our anchor locker, no?
Well, I mean, we had water back here on the floor.
Yeah.
That looked like it was coming from behind there, which again, there's no tow rail back there or anything that's causing it. So the water like you said, is probably coming from the bilge and flowing
Or
underneath. Or the back side. There's another little bilge in underneath the staircase here for our batteries, or for our shower drain. So maybe it's coming from the shower drain. I don't know, but we got to find out where this leak is coming from.
Yeah, because it's starting to be, I mean, I love knowing, checking our inventory of food, but it's starting to be a little bit excessive. I have to be doing this every 2 weeks.
Mangoes.
Dried mangoes, so good. I've just been cleaning all the compartments with food just because of the water coming in, and I'm realizing we have so much food. I way over provisioned for the Bahamas. Mind you, we did have a friend of ours that were supposed to stay for an extra 2 months with us who didn't, so, or a month and a half, so I did provision a little bit too much in that aspect because we ended up being left over with lots of things. And it was so tricky. Everyone told us that the Bahamas were really, really expensive, so I tried to just get tons of things. But in reality, there's some towns that have some of the dry goods like rice, sugar, flour that weren't that expensive per se, so that stuff I could have slacked out on buying in the US. I think we left the US with 3 or 4 10 kilos bags of rice, which still have like 1.5, 2 of them full. So that's a lot of rice left over, and we're only here for an extra like week or 2 depending on weather. And we've been in the Bahamas for over 3 months now. So that's one thing I would totally change. And then like dried fruits, I was trying to get a bunch of different types of things to keep it fresh and diversified. But in reality, I love mangoes, so I could have bought almost more mangoes. And then cranberries. I bought cranberries because I wanted different things, but I don't really like the cranberries.
I like the cranberries.
Corey does, but Corey doesn't eat breakfast all the time, so I end up being the one eating most of them. Which I'm putting a little bit in my oats all the time.
Also, certain things were actually good that we over-provisioned because we didn't think we were going to go through like so much peanut butter, as an example.
Yeah, Corey's been eating peanut butter and crackers like a lot. So thank you, Will, for making us buy tons of peanut butter. That was good. And crackers, I think we have more or less good amount of crackers. We still have quite a bit, but that's something that was nice to have with us. And like beans, I bought way too many beans. But I wasn't too sure if we'd be catching fish also. So that's one of those tricky things, but I probably could have bought a little bit less beans. In hindsight, it's kind of nice that we have tons of food because, well, with this whole coronavirus and us going back to the US and potentially Canada, I don't know how well stocked the grocery stores are going to be. It's kind of funny, there's like tons of food in the Bahamas, but then you hear people talking about back home how shelves are like almost empty. So I'm happy to have lots of things, we won't go hungry. And we still have lots of diversity, which is kind of nice.
Crazy lightning storm. I've never seen anything like that. Like really tall staghorn coral and like all sorts of neat types of coral.
This is really scary. There's like that crazy squall line.
Now we don't have a motor to get out of it if we need to release pressure on the anchor, and it's really not good holding.